Welcome to History Nuts. I'm Russ Carson Jr., the founder of Family Tree Nuts. At Family Tree Nuts, we build family trees for people, and we produce videos at historic locations and videos that help to honor your ancestors.
I'm Jameson Cable, founder of the Kentucky History Podcast, where we talk about anything Kentucky history, events, people. If it has to do with Kentucky, we're going to discuss it.
And we've teamed up together to bring you History Nuts.
History Nuts is a live show where we talk about, you guessed it, history.
Right. History seems to be less and less to people today, but we are trying to do everything we can to keep it alive.
Absolutely. History is a passion of ours for sure, but it connects to you. Russ, tell us about the best part of the show.
You can join in. You can comment and ask questions live.
We've got a great topic today, and we know you're going to enjoy this episode of
History Nuts.
Yeehaw, man, we are live. What's up, buddy? What's up, Jameson?
I'm so honored to be graced by Cowboy Carson.
That's right. We have had one heck of a last couple of days. As you can tell, I'm not in my office.
No, where you at, man? Where are you at in this fine world?
Right now, I'm in the swanky hotel here in Durango, Colorado. Durango.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So what brought you to Colorado in the first place?
Well, we've been in Colorado, Arizona, New Mexico, Utah. We made several videos last couple of days. Some of our live videos have been on there, but there's some videos we did that we didn't have any signal, so you'll just have to catch them edited. So making a bunch of videos out here. So it's been quite an experience. I think we have to be up in about 4 hours to catch the red eye back to Kentucky.
Man. So what time is it there? 9 o'clock here? 7 o'clock there?
Yeah.
Yeah,
we've been beating feet everywhere. We've been days of beating feet, trying to meet deadlines and schedules, kind of thing. So, but you kept giving me grief about the show, so I had to hurry. We're on punching the time clock, trying to get here. We didn't even get to finish our steaks.
Well, we missed last week, which I gotta say, sorry about that. Didn't have no power for about a week. It was wild. Man, wild week. I gotta say, I guess I could survive in the 1800s if I had to, but I definitely don't want to. I would much prefer electricity.
Yeah, you guys were out of power, kind of thing. That's what you get for living. Don't you live up in the holler somewhere though, don't you?
Yeah, tree fell down. Took out a pole. No electric for days.
Wow, unbelievable. Yeah. So today is the show, and guys, this is 100% live because Jameson and I had planned to do George Washington last week and then planned to do this video this week. And due to misunderstandings, he had prepared for George Washington, and my George Washington notes are in Kentucky, and I had prepared for presidents. So we're going to round up February with presidents because Jameson graced me with permission to go ahead and do that show tonight.
Well, February does have many presidential birthdays, so it makes a lot of sense to end February with presidents.
Absolutely. And before we forget, guys, chime in. If you see me keep looking over here, my setup's a little bit different here, so I keep looking at. Can you see the comments, Jameson, or no?
I can see the comments on my side.
Okay.
Can you see them on your side?
Yeah, I'm having to, I'm looking, you see me looking.
Yeah.
I'm looking to see the
Gotcha.
comments that are on there. Chime in with your comments and your questions. This is a different kind of show because we're going to go down the list with the presidents. Jameson's got the odd ones and I've got the even ones. And we chose that because Jameson's definitely the odd one. So it was an easy choice.
I'm not the one wearing the cowboy hat, I don't believe. But anyway.
Yeah, man. When in Rome, man. When in Rome. So, absolutely. You know what? I didn't even look out of place. Nobody even looked at me. Never even looked
Nobody
twice.
noticed it.
That's
Fit
right.
in.
That's right.
So, George Washington, right?
Yeah. So chime in, guys, and ask some questions. And you guess, starting up with George.
Yeah, tell us if there's any odd facts that you may know about a president or just anything, any president. It doesn't have to be odd. It could just be quite normal. George Washington was the first president. But
right.
One thing, the big myth about George Washington is his wooden teeth. George Washington did not have wooden teeth. They were made out of. No, he just drank a lot of wine. He drank a lot of wine. It looked like they were wood.
Wow.
But his teeth were made out of hippopotamus, ivory, which I'm not sure what that is, bone, animal, and human teeth.
You know what a hippopotamus is?
Oh, well, I know what a hippopotamus is, but the ivory. Is there a difference between hippopotamus ivory and other ivory? I guess I don't know.
Probably his teeth, I guess. That's beyond me. There, you're definitely into science, and this is a history show.
Yep, I ain't got much there. E equals MC squared.
Got it.
But anyway, so that's an interesting fact. A lot of people think George Washington has good old wooden teeth, but he didn't. He did not. So
okay,
next,
so my turn.
John Adams. Yeah,
John Adams,
right
the second president. And it was funny. When we were doing these, did you study any of the even presidents, or did you just do the odds?
When I first looked at it, I looked through the first little bit of them, but I didn't look at every one of them. No, so some of this stuff is going to be new to me when you say it.
Yeah,
so.
I didn't even look at the odds. So, but when I was going through there, I'm like, daggone it, man, Jameson's getting all the cool ones. But so John Adams, did you know that when he visited, he actually was with Thomas Jefferson before they hated each other. And he was in London, England, and they visited the home of William Shakespeare. And the two of them together carved off a piece of Shakespeare's chair.
Man, those heathens.
So I've been tempted to do things like that, with historical but that's bad stuff, man, kind of thing. So.
Yeah.
And they eventually hate each other, him and Thomas Jefferson. Another fact about that is might even be stealing your thunder, but they actually died on the same day. Do you know what day they died?
Oh man, the same day. I'm thinking the year was. I got the year in my head. It was 1826.
It was. Yes.
Date, I don't know. I don't know the date though.
July 4th, Independence Day, the 50th anniversary of the United States. Both the two of them passed away.
Wow, that's quite ironic. Even though they did not like each other either. That all fits in. So.
Cheryl says
moving on
that George Washington's teeth were made of elephant ivory, and the teeth of some of his slaves.
Wow.
Dan said he visited. Huh?
I said, "Wow, the teeth of some of his slaves."
Yeah.
Wow.
I know that one, but Dan again said that they visited Mount Vernon and his grave site there. He was quite a man and a businessman. Yeah, that's an awesome place.
Mm-hmm.
Mickey says, what about Teddy Roosevelt finishing his speech after being shot? Man, I'm going to talk about that in a minute, dude.
Don't steal his thunder yet.
Number 2, Teddy's like 22 or something like that. So, get there, bud. So, yeah, Elizabeth says loves our videos. And Cheryl said yes, some of the slaves. So, so now we're on to TJ.
OTJ, Thomas Jefferson. Now, it does say on here that he actually invented the swivel chair, which I thought was pretty interesting. But it does also bring up the vandalizing Shakespeare stuff. But the one big thing is he only made 2 public speeches while he was president, and he hated public speaking, which is, you think as a president they would be pretty good at public speaking, but he was not, surprisingly.
Well, he was brilliant, and many of those geniuses absolutely are a little bit awkward. You know, they're a little bit socially awkward. So that would make sense. I would think so.
Yep. All right, you're up, man.
James Madison. James Madison, my hero. James Madison, my hero. Every single morning, he went skinny dipping in the Potomac River.
Well, man, if he's hot, he's hot. You know, what are you gonna do?
It's a nice way to look for that. You know, so you don't have to look. I guess when you're the president, you. So I don't know if in public or it was a scheduled time or an event or not. But
they got people out of the way. You know, a mile radius.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so.
Yep. So James Monroe here. Oh, you said James Madison, right? Interesting fact: his cousin, which we'll see a video about him here in a minute, was the governor of Kentucky. But anyway, side note. James Monroe was the last surviving founding father, and he actually died on July 4th as well, 5 years after Jefferson and Adams died. So
wow,
pretty wild connection.
Yeah, famous for the Monroe Doctrine.
He also, while he was president, it was kind of a good era time because it was right after the War of 1812. And I don't know if you noticed, I'm gonna have a big shout out here. Today we had some academic team matches at my school, and we won one match, but we lost the other. But one of the questions was, what war was between the United States and Great Britain and is named after the year that it was fought?
Are you asking me that question?
Yeah, I'm asking you. What's the answer?
The War of 1812?
The War of 1812. But my students did
I'm
not
waiting
get
on a trick
right.
question here, man.
No. My students, my team, the student that buzzed in, they said the Revolutionary War, and that was wrong. So.
Wow. So how many push-ups do they have to do tomorrow?
They need to do many, I guess. 1,812.
Just remember, you as their leader, you have to do exactly what they do also.
There you go.
So I goofed up. I gave you the information on John Quincy Adams and not John Adams.
Oopsie.
John Quincy Adams. So I'm going to go ahead and do I already did number 6, so I'm going to go back and do number 4. John Adams himself was the shortest president. You know how short he was?
No, I do not. I mean, I could guess, like, I was going to say at least 5 foot something, but I don't know.
5'4". 5 foot 4 inches
wow.
was James Madison. So, and the county that I'm currently reside in is Madison County. But
you are correct.
So people are going to hunt me down and find me one of these days. But too much information. So then John Quincy Adams was the streaker and the skinny dipper. So
skinny dipper. Okay. All right.
I just wanted to get that story out. I couldn't wait for that. So.
So now we're on to number 7, right?
Yeah, I'm just kidding. That's my hero.
I know he's your boy. He's your boy, ain't he? One popular big rumor was that his parrot, Andrew Jackson's parrot, that he taught it how to curse, and that eventually the parrot was at his funeral, allegedly, and they had to remove the parrot from the funeral because he would not stop cursing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you ever heard that joke about Jesus will get you, right? About that parrot. But I'll tell you that one later. It's a good one.
Okay, all right. I don't think I've heard that one, but
my father's a pastor. My mother told me that joke, but I'll tell you later. Jesus will get you, the parrot. That's right. Kind of in those lines. So his parrot would not quit cursing. Good stuff. Good stuff. We had some comments there. I was going to look here. I lost it there. Carla says she loves Thomas Jefferson and Monticello. Don Smith said he's been to Madison's grave. That's pretty cool. And Carla also said the Hermitage, Jackson's home in Tennessee, one of my favorite places to visit for sure. And awesome place. So now we're moving on to number 8, Martin Van Buren. Okay. Martin Van Buren wasn't a very big guy either. He was 5'6". He had his opponents gave him the nickname Martin Van Ruin right before the next president, Tippecanoe Tyler too, and called him Martin Van Ruin. They also called him the Sly Fox and the Little Magician due to the way he was slick and the things that he did. And they also gave you got Old Hickory, about Andrew Jackson you were just talking about. He was called Old Kinderhook. And Kinderhook was a place up there in New York where he was from. And his campaign slogans, his people walked around with OK on there for Old Kinderhook. And they think that's where the phrase OK came from. So,
wow.
OK was okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
On to William Henry Harrison, which we talked about a few weeks ago quite in-depthly, but the unique thing about him is he had the longest inaugural address ever, and it was 90 minutes long. And later he died.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. He was the first president to die in office, right? Which, I mean, it's not really.
Right.
That's not, I guess,
unique.
But, okay.
Yeah, the next one is John Tyler. John Tyler. Very hated John Tyler. He was expelled from his own party while he was president. He was the first president to be impeached. His own obituary in the New York Times says that he was the most unpopular man to hold public office in the United States.
Oh, gosh, that was his obituary?
In his obituary. The most unpopular man to hold office in the United States. And when he died, flags were not deaf.
Man. Jeez, that's rough. That's rough.
I guess everybody hated the guy,
yeah. Oh, man. All right, let's move on to James K. Polk. He was not the most popular guy either, because you know what he did? He banned booze, card playing, and dancing from the White House. I mean, come on. He's not making any friends doing that.
No card playing and no dancing.
It's like he's trying to make it a moral place.
Well, I understand. I guess, yeah. Doesn't sound like and you take the time period right there. That was about all you had to do for entertainment, kind of thing. So, well, was he an ultra religious fellow?
Who Polk?
Yes.
I would guess so. I mean, if he went to those extents, he must have been, yeah. But sure. I mean, I'm not a big Polk studier, so I don't know.
Yeah, man. Next would be Zachary Taylor, and on the 4th of July ceremony, he ate a big bowl of cherries and frozen milk. Developed a horrible stomach ache. And apparently there was bacteria. They don't know if it was in the milk of the cherries, but he died.
Oh.
People had gotten sick too, but so that bowl of cherries and frozen milk called him to die in office.
There you go. Now, this is one that. Do what? Do you want me to go try that? I don't know.
I'll be trying that, cherries and milk.
Yeah. So one of the most popular and talked about presidents of all time, Millard Fillmore. You're aware of him and
I
all of
am.
his deeds.
Nobody knows much about Miller. He's the one that nobody knows anything about with a
That's
stupid
right.
name.
He is known. I was thinking it, but you said it. I was thinking. He's
Now we're
really
like Beavis and Butthead. This is the Beavis and Butthead show now, isn't it? So.
Yeah. He was known as an uninspiring man, but he also married his school teacher. So
I see.
there you have it. There you go.
I've read some articles about that in not too distant past there. So that's interesting for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Franklin Pierce, another guy that gets forgotten about. People don't remember very much, but his own party refused to renominate him for re-election.
Wow, that is saying something when your own party doesn't throw you back in the ring.
Right, and do you know what he said when he got the news?
What's that?
There's nothing left to do but to drink. So that's what he's quoted as saying. And he also apparently loved the libations because he was also arrested for hitting a woman while he was riding his horse. Ran over a woman on his horse.
My goodness.
Rumor is that he might have been inebriated at the time. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, it seems like it's very possible. I would assume that.
These are definitely stories that the majority of us have probably never heard.
Yep. So, James Buchanan here. He is the record holder of being the only bachelor to be president. He's the only one that was not married. So,
I'll tell you what, if you really start doing some research about him, he's also known to be. There's a lot of rumors about him too. So
there is some rumors about him as well. Yes. So
may or may not be true, and and you really start doing investigations, they can't prove anything one way or the other. But I'll just go ahead and say it. We're beating around the bush with people like, what are you talking about here? There's rumors that he was America's first homosexual president.
Yep.
And there's some pretty good evidence that leads that way, but I'll leave that alone.
Yep. You can research that on your own and see what you can find.
Right. And next one is one of the greatest human beings on earth. I did some President Abraham Lincoln, our 16th president. I did some stuff on his birthday the other day, and man, some of the stuff got shared to these different pages and things, and you would have some people strongly disagreed with my opinion of Lincoln. So I was found that quite interesting. Turning him into a very evil person, but anyway, that's not what I was going to tell about Lincoln. But a lot of people don't know that he's famous for being a wrestler. And
wait, say that again.
A wrestler.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he was used to be in the WWF, Hulk Hogan and all them guys, and Abraham Lincoln. Remember that? But he had a pretty good record, and supposedly he wrestled about 300 matches. Do you know how many of those 300 matches that he won?
I mean, I'm going to shoot at least 150.
299. Said he was only defeated one time. So, you know, he's pretty tall and wiry fella. One of those guys that are hard to beat for sure. So had some long wings.
We talked about him fighting at the or not fighting, but there was voter intimidation at an Illinois voting precinct there, and he bowled up on him, ready to go. Said, "Boys, you got to get out of here," and ran him off.
He grabbed that guy by the nape of the neck and the back of his breeches, they said, and chucked him. So,
yeah,
pretty awesome. Pretty awesome.
All righty, we're ready for Andrew Johnson here.
Yeah.
All right, he was the first to be impeached, but didn't you say that about another president a minute ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm confused here.
Well, you know, I'm glad you brought that up because
yes.
in history, I quite often find that very often the absolute experts on a subject disagree. We try to cover all periods of history and history all over the place. So, we don't have PhDs in every single area of history, on family tree nuts. But we often find that these people that do have PhDs in certain areas of history and specialize in them often disagree. So I'm not sure about those facts. Possibly I've said the words wrong. He was the first one to be rumored to be impeached or something. So possibly my sources were wrong, or I'm just an idiot. I'm not sure, but I guess we can look later on. So.
The other thing is, when he was younger, his father died, so his mother sent him and his brother off to be a indentured servant to a tailor, and him and his brother actually ran away for a time period, and the tailor put out a reward for them for $10 for their capture, and but they never were apprehended. So
wow,
pretty interesting. I mean, to think that he became a president.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of shady stuff goes on, this way, before and after and during. So it goes on. So next, one of the other people that's extremely loved or extremely hated, President Ulysses S. Grant. He one of the things that a lot of people don't realize is that when Lincoln was assassinated, Grant and his wife were supposed to be there also. Rumor is that the two wives kind of squabbled a little bit, and somebody, I can't remember if it was Ulysses or his wife that had said they were ill and regretfully declined of joining them. But they were supposed to be in a box, and they were supposed to be assassinated. Ulysses S. Grant was supposed to be assassinated as well, and he lived with that the rest of his life, and thought that he might have been able to stop it or help it and it bothered him for the rest of his life. Another interesting fact about Grant is that he detested the sight, the smell, the look of blood. Somebody that had been around in their life, he could not stand blood. Now, we did a video at his birth home, or his boyhood home there in Georgetown, Ohio, and his father was a tanner. So right across the street, they used to strip hides and cook them and soak them and things like that. So he was around it at an early age, but the whole smell of death and things like that. So might have had something to do with it.
Yep. So for Rutherford B. Hayes, he won the most disputed election. Well, you might want to say at the time, because he lost the popular vote by 250,000, which you might think, that's pretty really close. But in the 1870s, population was not as big as it is now, so that's probably a little wider margin that you can think. But he lost the but he won the electoral college. Some of the nicknames he had was Rutherford, his fraudulency, and Granny Hayes. So there you go.
Oh, Granny Hayes.
Oh, Granny Hayes.
this bashing that has always went on, kind of thing. So
yeah,
like Cheeto Head and things like that. Something here today.
There ain't nothing new.
Lion of Biden, kind of thing. I mean, this stuff has been going on since the very, very beginning. So I think we had a comment here. Carla said that Grant's birthplace home is in Lancaster. She might be thinking of Sherman. I know Sherman's born in Lancaster, Ohio. I know that Grant's boyhood home there is in Georgetown, Ohio. A lot of times folks will get those two confused. Sometimes they're as equally hated, but very few are as hated as Sherman for sure. James Garfield. One cool thing about him
Garfield.
James Garfield. He was ambidextrous. You know what ambidextrous means?
Yeah, man. I'm ambidextrous. Both hands.
You can use both hands, right? Can you pat
Using
your
both
head
hands.
and rub your tummy at the same time?
Oh yeah, man, that's easy.
But James Garfield has said that he could write in Greek with one hand while at the same time writing in Latin with the other hand.
Now that would be impressive, but I would have to see it to believe it.
I can write in chicken scratch and with both hands.
Yeah. So, all right.
Almost there.
Let's do one more.
We're almost there. We're almost there.
What number are we on? I've definitely lost count. What number are we on?
Yeah. We've
Okay,
got one
so
more.
one more.
Halfway there.
All right. Oh, Chester Arthur. He wanted to redecorate the White House. So you know what he did to get money? Do you? I mean, what would you do if you wanted to get money to redecorate the White House?
Pass the hat.
That would be pretty logical. He sold 24 wagon loads of historical relics. Or Abraham Lincoln's pants, John Quincy Adams hats.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, sold them to make the White House look more, I guess up to date, if you want to call it that.
I see.
Nicer. So he got the nickname of Elegant Arthur.
Elegant Arthur. How about that? I didn't know that at all. That's just so he can decorate the White House. We all have our priorities. We all have our priorities. Mm-hmm. There's been a lot of
budget problems. Foreign affairs. Hey, let's decorate the White House.
That's right. That's interesting for sure. Rutherford, we had a comment there. Rutherford Hayes' home is in Fremont, Ohio. It's a beautiful home. And let's see here. And next here is Mr. Grover Cleveland. Halfway through here, pretty much. Not technically, but halfway in our stories here. But Grover Cleveland, his law partner died, and he adopted his 11-year-old daughter. Honorable. Mm-hmm. Honorable. But 10 years later, he married her.
Yeah. That's
and
a little.
She was 21, and that made her the youngest first lady in history. Only 21 years old.
That's interesting, I guess.
Yes. Don't know what
interesting.
But definitely. Yes.
So, let's take a break. Let's take a break.
I said,
let's take a break.
We're going to stay with us for a real quick commercial there. We'll be right back on the other side. And before I forget, if you like this kind of thing that we do here, if you like the different stories, the history and things, make sure you go to both the Kentucky History Podcast and the Family Tree Nuts. Subscribe to our YouTube channels right there. You can find us you can find any of the stories that we've done anywhere at any time. It's free. It's free. Click subscribe. You don't have to pay a dime. You can watch all that stuff anytime.
Yep.
There's my plug for that. So we'll get.
George Madison was born in Rockingham County, Virginia in June 1763. His early life is unknown. He received his education in rural Virginia. He served in the Revolutionary War as a soldier and enlisted at a young age. He was in Kentucky by the mid-1780s, possibly around 1784 in Lincoln County. He married Jane Smith, and they had 4 children. He was wounded twice in the Indian battles of 1791 and 1792. On one occasion, the story goes, during the retreat, a soldier named William Kennon found Madison sitting on a log. Kennon was being pursued by natives and encouraged Madison to run, but Madison stood to reveal that he had been badly wounded and was bleeding everywhere. Kennon helped Madison to a horse, so they were both able to escape. During another battle, serving under John Adair, Madison was wounded. He entered politics in 1796, serving as the Kentucky State Auditor of Public Accounts, a position he held for 20 years. He was the director of the Bank of Kentucky. He served in the jury for Aaron Burr's trial of treason. He also served in the War of 1812 as the second major of the 1st Rifle Regiment of the Kentucky Volunteers. In the Battle of Frenchtown, he was captured, held prisoner in Quebec in 1813, and released a year later in a prisoner exchange. His wife, Jane Smith Madison, died in 1811. With poor health, he resigned as auditor, but with public demand high, he sought the office of governor. James Johnson was the other candidate running for office, but he withdrew when Madison entered the race, so Madison was elected the 6th governor of Kentucky unanimously. His health was so poor, he could not make it to Frankfort, so on September 5, 1816, he was sworn into office at Bourbon County. However, shortly after taking office, he became ill with tuberculosis, and his only act was the appointment of Colonel Charles S. Todd as the Secretary of State. Governor George Madison passed away on October 14, 1816, and was buried in the Frankfort Cemetery in Frankfort, Kentucky. He was in office a total of 39 days. Some other notable facts about George Madison: he was the first Kentucky governor to die in office. President James Madison was his second cousin. His brother, James Madison, became the Episcopal Bishop of Virginia and president of William and Mary College. I hope you enjoyed learning about George Madison, Kentucky's 6th governor. His time as governor was short, but throughout his life, he did have an influence on Kentucky politics in the early years of the state. Don't forget to try out audibletrial.com/kyhistorypod to get a free book of your choosing. Like, subscribe, and share this video and the Kentucky History channel for more Kentucky history content. If you feel like it, check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/kyhistorypod. Find us on Twitter and Facebook at kyhistorypod. And don't forget to check out the Land Between the Meadows Kentucky History Podcast for more in-depth history of Kentucky. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
All right, that was pretty good. I probably should have just watched your video before I came up with my interesting facts for the matter there. So
yeah, you could have said his cousin was the governor of Kentucky. There you go. Interesting fact.
Right. That's right. There you go.
Right.
There you go. Tying it back to Kentucky again. All right,
yeah, so,
moving on.
That's kind
of Cleveland.
Oh, Benjamin Harrison. Benjamin Harrison was kind of known as the human iceberg because he was so stiff with people. I mean, you've heard of people being called cold, but being called an iceberg means you really take it to another level, right?
How in the world did he get elected, huh?
He also was the first president to have electricity in the White House, but he was so scared of electricity that he would sleep with the lights on, which I guess it was a new thing. What are you gonna do?
He would sleep with the lights on?
Yeah. He would go to bed with the lights on because he wouldn't turn off the light switches. He wouldn't turn off the switches because he was scared of electricity. Yeah.
All right.
I guess I should have added that part. But,
yeah. All righty. Then moving on to number 24, Grover Cleveland. Didn't we already do Grover Cleveland?
We did. So what's up with that?
He is the only president that was elected to 2 non-sequential terms. So he was elected, was out, and came back and elected again. So that's one interesting fact. And of course, the other interesting fact is that he adopted a girl at age 10 and married her.
I thought we were past that. I thought we were past that one.
But another interesting fact is that part of his jaw was vulcanized rubber. He had a secret surgery done on his buddy's yacht.
Oh, wow.
Rubber jaw.
There you go. Wow. I don't know if we can top that one. William McKinley. I don't know. This one with William McKinley, it is pretty crazy. So he considered carnations his lucky charm. So he wore them everywhere. And on September 6, 1901, he bent down and gave a girl his carnation that he had, on his lapel or his jacket. And then he was shot.
Oh.
Yeah. And he died.
Lucky carnation.
Yeah. Kind of, that's
interesting.
it's a bit eerie, but yeah. So
very interesting.
Right. Moving on to the next one.
Yeah. Next one, Woody. Oh, Woodrow Wilson. He and a lot of people don't realize.
What? Woodrow.
What? Yeah. Did we skip some?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think so.
Teddy. I skipped Teddy.
Yeah. Don't forget Teddy, man.
Oh, see, I'm skipping him here. So, as you see, I'm not in my office, and I don't normally have my normal setup right there. So, yeah, we skipped Teddy. Teddy, did you know that on Valentine's Day, 1884, that both his mother and his wife died?
Man.
On the same day.
Oh, man.
Really horrific day. And another gentleman brought this up earlier there that he was given a speech and was shot. The bullet was lodged inside of his body, and I'm paraphrasing here, but he said, "I know I've been shot, and I don't give a rap. I don't give a rap that I've been shot." And he finished his hour-and-a-half speech with a bullet lodged inside of him. So,
if you can't get behind him after that,
yeah, he's my son's favorite president because how much of a tough guy he is. He's in the background back here celebrating, talking about Teddy. And he said, "I don't give a rap about that bullet getting shot in me."
Oh, yep. Yeah. So moving on to William Taft, best known for his weight. He's a big guy, big dude.
Over 300.
Big 300, man. He's a big guy.
Some say more than that, right? I that story about he got stuck in the bathtub, they said, but some say that's not true.
Yeah.
Had to use butter, I guess, on his sides to get him out of the bathtub when I'm hurt.
Oh gosh! I mean,
I've recently read some stuff that says that was all rumors and propaganda put out by his enemies.
Well, hopefully so, because that would be very embarrassing. That would be very embarrassing if you weren't the president. But anyway, there you go. He's a big guy.
Yeah. Bev says, how many presidents have been assassinated?
Ooh, Lincoln. Well, the one we just said, and I can't believe I'm losing his name here.
5.
McKinley.
It's a Jeopardy question here.
Yeah, JFK. Man, come on.
I think there's 4 of them.
No.
McKinley, Lincoln, JFK, and Garfield.
Okay. I think, I can't think of. I was trying to think. There's 2 others that's been shot. I know because Reagan was shot, but he didn't die.
Remember, it's every 20 years. That's the curse of the prophet, Tenskwatawa.
Yeah.
Tenskwatawa.
So, yeah.
Can you say Tenskwatawa? But
Tenskwatawa.
Your Chinese on your tongue a little bit. So.
All right, now we're ready for Woodrow.
5 feet 11.5 inches tall, and his weight was between 325 and 350 pounds. Towards the end of his presidency, he was thought to have had difficulty getting out of the White House bathtub, so he had a 7-foot, 2 meters long, 41-inch wide tub installed. So,
whoa,
yeah,
man.
Carla asked if I'm still out west. Yes, for a few more hours. We'll be getting on a plane here very shortly. So then we'll be back in the bluegrass. But now we're on to Woodrow Wilson. WW there. in 1919, he still had 2 years of presidency left, and he suffered a stroke, and he was partially paralyzed and almost blind. And his wife helped him tremendously to function for the rest of his life. So I think they called her the Presidentess. They kind of nicknamed her the Presidentess. But most people didn't know that he was in that bad way.
Yeah. They kept it pretty well, I guess, under wraps. But I mean, at the time, no TV, those sorts of things. So a little bit more manageable.
Right.
Definitely. All right. So, Warren Harding, and not too much going on with old Mr. Harding, except that he was a little bit, what would you say? No, not provocative, but a wanderer, I guess, as far as he had a few affairs. He had an affair with his wife's friend, and a few others rumored as well. But he messed around with another lady who had wrote a book called The President's Daughter, about her daughter, about how her daughter was Harding's daughter. And a DNA test, 2005, proved that this was the fact.
Wow.
So, a Jerry Springer episode.
Yeah.
80 years later.
Yeah, you could. Sounds to me like we could do a Jerry Springer episode on about all these guys.
all the presidents. Yeah.
So, and none of us are saints, and you go delving into it. We've all got a few things we're not probably proud of. Remember, you told me about those college stories. Remember, that's why you never ran for office.
Easy. Who knows who's watching?
But right. Calvin Coolidge. Calvin Coolidge was known to have someone rub Vaseline on his head while he ate breakfast.
What? Oh.
Yep.
Is there a reason behind that?
Yeah, I basically believed that it would good luck, keep germs away, and things like that. So make sure you have your wife rub some Vaseline on your head.
Well, it makes me think of the Office episode where Michael Scott puts peanut butter on his head. I don't know if you're familiar with The Office, but
I've seen them all, but it's been a while. I don't remember that.
That's what came to my mind.
Yeah. He also had two raccoons named Reuben and Rebecca that they let run wild in the White House. Reuben and Rebecca Raccoon.
Man. There you go.
It's good to be the king.
All right. Herbert Hoover. Herbert Hoover was actually, him and his wife actually lived in China and spoke Mandarin from time to time in private conversations. But I thought that's a pretty big, interesting fact that they were that fluent. Which, I mean, if you live in a place, that's the thing. If you live in someplace foreign, you can pick up the language a lot easier. But pretty interesting. Everybody knows what was that. Do what?
What'd you say? If you live in why do you have to press 1 for English?
Do what?
You just said if you live in a place, you can pretty much pick up the language, But why do we got to press 1 for Moving on.
Yeah. that one went over my head.
Yeah, I'm trying to back up on these comments here. They're getting lost in there. Carlos said the rumor is that his wife may have poisoned him because of the affairs that he had there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta learn.
So FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, somebody that people know a whole lot about, president that's quite well known, but he really loved his little dog. I believe it was a Scotty dog, if I'm not mistaken, named Fala. And he was the only person that was allowed to feed Fala, and made the dog an honorary private during World War II.
Mm-hmm.
And his wife, Eleanor, did not have to change her last name when they got married.
There you go.
She was his cousin, I think, and she was walked down the aisle by Teddy, I think. So, her uncle, Roosevelt.
There you go. Yep.
A little bit of
odd,
there, but
Yeah, there you go. Anyway, we'll run on to his predecessor. Truman Harry Truman. Not much about. Well, we're talking about marriage here, I guess. He met his wife Bess when he was 6 years old in Sunday school, and they got married. Not when they were 6, but eventually.
Right down the road a little bit. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Eisenhower, the war general, President Eisenhower. He changed the presidential retreat that was in Maryland from the Shangri-La. It used to be called the Shangri-La to Camp David. He said Shangri-La sounded too fancy for an old Kansas farm boy. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So there you go, Camp David.
Camp David. Cool. All right. JFK. A lot of people know plenty about JFK, but this is very interesting. He received $1 million on his 21st birthday, which would be pretty nice for anybody, I would say.
You didn't?
I did not. I did not.
Yeah. I thought everybody got $1 million.
With all that, all his brothers and sisters got the same thing. However, his recommendation letter to Harvard from his father said that he was careless and lacks application. So, I mean, you don't get everything.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. But he still got in, I guess. So there you go. I heard follow in the background there. So
yeah. Yeah.
LBJ, Lyndon Baines Johnson. A lot of people don't know that in World War II, he was on an aircraft. He was on an airplane called the Wabash Cannonball. And they were set to take off. And we've all had it happen to us. Nature called. He had an emergency that he had to deplane, got off the aircraft, and by the time that he was finished doing what he needed to do, the airplane had taken off, which ironically, later on, unfortunately, the plane crashed and everyone perished that was on that plane. So
wow.
Had he not had the irritable bowel syndrome or whatever the issue was, he wouldn't have made it to been president.
There you go.
So you never know. I try to tell my kids, you never know where the silver lining is going to be in that story.
When you gotta go, you gotta go.
That's right. I'm like, you got to wonder sometimes, why does bad things happening? There might be a good reason in the long run.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Old Nixon. I'm not a crook. He he loved to bowl so much that he put a bowling alley in the basement of the White House, which I think that's not too strange of a fact, is it? I mean, I guess people know that there's a bowling alley in there, just didn't know maybe who put it in there.
Right?
Yeah.
Gerald Ford. Gerald Ford is the only president that was never elected vice president or president. Wait, did we skip somebody? We skipped somebody here.
No. Gerald Ford, yeah, right after Nixon, yeah.
Yeah.
Are we missing somebody? I don't think so. Is that all for Ford? Are you ready for Carter?
Well, within 17 days, he escaped assassination attempts, both by women, by the way.
Wow, there you go. Living on the edge, huh?
Yeah, Gerald Ford. He was brought in. He's the only person to never be elected president or vice president. He was Spiro Agnew resigned, and he took Spiro Agnew's spot as vice president. And then of course, when Nixon resigned, Ford became president. So he was never elected vice president or president.
There you go. There you
got
go.
Off camera a little bit there.
So, Jimmy Carter, and we're getting out to more recent presidents because he is still alive. He actually was appeared in Playboy, so that is very interesting. Yeah. An unlikely publication of Playboy. Yes. Yeah. Not, I mean, fully.
In an article?
Yeah, just in an article. Yes, yes.
Okay.
I mean,
All right.
I guess I should have led with that in an article.
I've never seen one of those, so I don't know what's in there, but all right. Moving on. You find the weirdest things out about that kind of thing, but Ronnie Reagan, some say one of the greatest presidents. I guess it really depends on which way you lean, but many people think that way. A lot of people name their children in the last little bit after Reagan, but Reagan actually consulted an astrologer before he had big decisions to make or scheduling an important event. He would consult an astrologer.
Well, I mean, maybe he followed the signs, maybe too. I mean, why wouldn't you consult an astrologer?
Well, because it says in the Bible that you shouldn't do that, but
so George H.W. Bush, he vomited in public on the British, or not the British, the Japanese prime minister. So I think he ate something rough and threw it up on the prime minister of Japan.
Wow. I think he would have just held it in and maybe did a Gerald Ford or whatever,
There's video of it too. It's actually,
or Lyndon Baines Johnson. Yeah, that'd be great. Wow.
It's actually pretty funny, but to watch. But yeah.
Yeah.
Well, bad sushi, I guess, or
I
don't like Japanese food either. I don't like Japanese food, so I can't blame them.
I definitely, I get him. I get it there. That's for sure. Teresa said Gerald Ford was on the Warren Commission investigating the assassination of Kennedy. He replaced Nixon, first president election that she ever voted in. She's dated herself now,
cool.
Kind of thing. She said he wrote an article for Playboy, not appeared, thank God. And,
okay, that's
yeah. She said that she remembered that he threw up and that he hated broccoli. Was that him or his son? I know we're getting ahead of ourselves there, but George W. Bush said his mama made him eat broccoli, and he's now president of the United States, and he will not eat broccoli. Jumped ahead there. We skipped over Slick Willie there. So, but a lot of people don't know that Bill Clinton actually, huh?
I got a quick question here. Why do people with the name William get called Bill? How did that happen? I mean, I don't really get the connection. I mean,
that I don't know.
I don't know. All right, go ahead. With
Richard Dick, I guess. I mean, not even close.
Yeah, that's another one that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense at all. But
yeah, if you guys know, chime in the comments here. We'd love to know that too. So yeah, be interesting. Yeah.
Anyway,
that's another show. Slick Willie actually has 2 Grammys. Did you know that? He has a Grammy for the best spoken word album, and he has another Grammy for the best spoken word album for children.
Huh. Wow. Well, I did not know that. That is surprising.
I could bring up about him. So.
Yeah. All right. Now, George W. Bush, he was his high school's head cheerleader. Did you know that?
Really? Okay.
Now, him and his father would be the second father-son pair, right? With the Adamses?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. That's what I'm making sure. All right.
Yes.
All right.
And then we're winding it down here.
Yep.
Obama,
what do you got?
When he lived in Indonesia, he had a pet ape.
Cool.
A pet ape. Everybody wants a pet ape, right? That I think
I'll take a pet ape.
Tato, yeah, heck yeah, you want a pet ape. He hated ice cream. You were talking earlier about the president. He ate the cherries and frozen milk, but he hated ice cream because he worked at Baskin Robbins when he was a kid. So
Oh, well, you know what? I can understand that. I worked at old Pizza Hut for a while when I was in school, and after I quit there, I did not really like Pizza Hut until a few years later. It just
makes sense.
something about working in that it really gets to you.
Yeah,
So I don't blame 'em.
absolutely. And last thing I bring up about him is that in his high school basketball nickname was the Obama. Obama because of his skills for dropping bombs,
Oh yeah, yeah. Be
So
balling it up.
yeah. There was somebody that played basketball against him when he was president. It was Michael Jordan. I think he fouled him and busted his lip or something like that,
Oh
kind of
man.
thing. So imagine fouling the president and busting their lip. But
I know, wouldn't you? Yeah, wouldn't you? Yeah, you'd feel a little bad about that. You'd have to call that one, wouldn't you?
maybe. I know there's a lot of people that were wanting to say, hey, I'd like to play a game of basketball.
No,
But
no blood, no foul.
that's right. That's right. All right. We just
All
got
right.
2 left.
Well, we do. I don't have nothing on. I don't have no interesting fact on Trump. I figured it was too soon. What would we have? I don't
Well, I
know.
wonder, should we bring those up or not, because of those too soon.
With Trump, a lot of the stuff is out there that I know of. I don't know of anything unique or that's out there that would surprise
Yeah,
anybody.
right. So I guess we can leave it right there without ostracizing half of our people watching, one way or the other. We can make jokes about the other two for the rest of the evening, I guess, right? So
Yeah. Too soon. We'll just leave it. It's too soon. Well,
yeah, there you go. Teresa shared the link in the comments there of I guess that'd be President Bush puking on the Japanese guys. So if you'd like to see that, make sure you check out the comments. I'm sure we'll all be looking at that later when we get off here. So
yeah.
All right, that sums it up. It's been a little bit right about normal time there, what we normally do.
Yeah,
so
that was
pretty fun.
Yeah,
that was pretty fun. We knew it was going to be pretty interesting when we talked about that. So
definitely go back in the comments and find all the things that we got wrong.
yeah, right. Or the experts differ on, I guess, what's the best way to work. So, but I guess we'll get ready to get out of here. You guys got anything coming up here in the next little bit?
Well, since the snow and all that happened, we did finally get to record recently. So we will have me and Mr. Pope will have a new episode on that, and some other things going as well. I've got we got some stuff researched and some stuff we can talk about it on this show here in a little bit too as well. So ready to roll, man. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and the podcast, and especially if you want to learn some Kentucky history, because we got it coming out. So
yeah, definitely do. That's for sure. We've got a lot of new things coming down the pipe here. A lot of surprises. I don't want to spoil them yet. There's a lot of pretty big things that are are already happening within Family Tree Nuts. You've got some big projects that are coming out too, and we're growing leaps and bounds. And you want to check out on Wednesday nights. We've got a new thing. Last night was the second episode. Mary Grace out in Washington's teaming up with a different one of us on the team each week, and they're going to be discussing a different state each week. They've done Washington and Oregon.
Oh.
They're doing Idaho next, but we're going to knock out all 50 states, kind of like what we did with the presidents tonight, but stuff for the different states. So we think that's pretty cool. And
I definitely know some things about Kentucky. So
there you go. Maybe you can be the Kentucky expert to speak to.
There we go. I would say one last thing before we go here. I'm trying to do this at the same time, but trying to get to 500 subscribers on the old YouTube channel. So try to go up there before the end of February. So we're really close. Go like the YouTube channel. That's all I got.
Yeah, absolutely. Better skip. Carlos said better skip those two. Got a thing said safe travels, safe trip. But we'll be back. Should be back at the house about 1500 tomorrow. But anyway, anything else you want to say before we take off?
That's all I got, man.
Yeah, hail to the Chiefs, right? Hail to the Chiefs. And hey, remember, Family Tree Nuts. Let our nuts find the nuts in your family tree.
So you've built your family tree and made a ton of amazing discoveries. What a fulfilling experience it is to breathe life back into them. But what are you going to do with all the information that you found? Are you going to let it sit on some computer or some website? Maybe hand off stacks of papers and binders that you have to some relative that may be interested but maybe not be able to make heads or tails of the research that you've done. Let us help honor your ancestors in video. At Family Tree Nuts, we make videos with you at the location of relevance to your ancestors, such as their gravesite, their homes, land, or other location pertaining to them. You tell their story in your words, documenting them forever. The professionally produced videos are published on our YouTube page where they are easily shared with your family members. The videos are also searchable and will be able to be seen for centuries by your descendants. Imagine being able to see a video of one of your ancestors. Well, your descendants are going to be able to do just that. And we have tons of examples that we can share with you. These videos are fun to make, and we can make many of them in just a single day. Don't let those amazing discoveries that you found slip back away into the darkness. Let us help you honor them by, in a sense, keeping them alive forever. Contact us for details.